SportsCenter with more on our breaking news of the day. Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons posting today on social media that he wants a trade. He's been a hold-in at camp, seeking a new deal. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He says his agent and the Dallas front office haven't even been in contact. For much more on Micah Parsons, let's bring in the guy that always has to represent the star, even on days like this, our former Cowboy, Marcus Spears. Swagu, what was your immediate reaction to Parsons' trade request?
Hell, first of all, I love your tone because I'm so tired. I don't want anybody else to tell me to calm down today. I don't want to hear it. El, you know how it's that kid that just picks on you at school?
Yes.
And everybody like, turn the other cheek, just chill out, go. No, it's time to punch him in the face,
Correct.
Okay? Because it's not going to stop until you do it. That is how I felt when I heard about Micah Parsons wanting a trade request. I just wanted to punch the Dallas Cowboys in the face. And it's not because of a negotiation, right? We've all seen these things play out. Myles Garrett just had a trade request with the Cleveland Browns, ends up with the richest contract in the NFL as a defensive player. It's this particular team, the team that I love and that I follow, that continues to do the same thing every single offseason. They eventually end up signing the superstar, but they refuse to acknowledge that it affects the team and how they play football when the season starts. Now you got other teammates that are in the middle of a training camp with a new head coach in Brian Schottenheimer, a new defense coordinator in Eberflus, that got to deal with potentially not having their superstar defensive end, who accounts for about 25% of this team's pressure on defense, which means he's a one-man wrecking crew and is on pace to be a generational talent. So I don't want anybody. I done got text and on X and Instagram, stop telling me to calm down. I'm not going to do it because it's not about Micah Parsons' contract. It's about the drama that consistently happens with the Dallas Cowboys that affects the way that they play football. This is the ever-revolving cycle. We in phase 2 of the Dallas Cowboys. Go into the offseason with expectations. Don't sign your superstar player until the day before the season and sit your ass at home and watch the playoffs. So phase 3, everybody gonna get mad again and we're gonna start this revolving cycle once more.
Yeah, listen, what's the adage, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You mentioned it. We're always here with this team. Dak last year, CeeDee Lamb last year, and CeeDee Lamb actually tweeted this, quote, never fails, dog. Just pay the man what you owe him. No need for the extracurricular. And Swagu, we also saw some notable teammates change their profile pictures to include a picture of Micah Parsons standing in solidarity publicly. And I'm wondering, how does that kind of fracture, especially this close to the start of the season, affect the locker room trying to build that chemistry, trying to chase a title?
And El, honestly, that's why I'm pissed off. Because now it's separation of church and state, right? Like the front office is not a part of the Cowboys. That's how this team looks at it. And everybody, again, I always tell, man, the players got to play. They got to show up on the field and do their thing. Organizations that are well run, that handle their business, and everybody is pulling in one direction are the teams that we usually see have success. Obviously, you got to have the talent. You got to have the X's and O's and the coaches. But there's a part of professional sports, especially in pro football, where your synergy, the character of the people in the building have to align in order for you to have success. Football has more staff than any other professional sport. It is vitally important for people to be on the same page if you're going to try to accomplish winning a championship. And here we are again with the face of one of the faces of your franchise back in this ever-revolving cycle, now asking for a trade request. And you know what, El? It's a little part of me that is hoping Micah stand on business. It's a little part of me that wants this not to work out the way the Cowboys usually thinks it's going to work out, where you're going to throw the boatload of money and they eventually sign. Usually it turns out the other way and you end up getting a deal done. But there is something to be said for this organization and this team for always seemingly to end up in this position but continues to try to throw this thing on the outside like this doesn't affect the actual playing of football and trying to win a championship. And that is where I'm pissed off at. The Micah Parsons negotiation, the deal, the trade, all of that type of stuff, we can assume that it's going to get done. If it doesn't get done, you get compensation for getting rid of a player like him. But what we also can assume, and we can base this off of a lot of history and a lot of evidence, is that the Cowboys ain't going to do nothing this football season.
They're about to do that mess around and find out, but maybe the not safe for work version. The good news is, for Micah Parsons, yesterday's prices ain't today's prices. Either way, he gonna get paid. Marcus Spears joining us here. I wish you were just more passionate, Swagu.
I'm so glad you had that calm voice, because both of us couldn't be turned up.
L. Duncan hanging out with you for the next hour. Man, Kevin Nagandhi's not here. I wonder if he's at Eagles camp. I don't think that he is, but we are. Also, our 50 States in 50 Days tour heads to Florida with Randy and Gary, and hilarity will ensue. And we're grateful to be live from San Francisco for some musical history. But first, huge news with Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons posting today on social media that he wants a trade. He's been a hold-in at camp seeking a new deal. Adam Schefter reports that talks were actually going backward from Parsons' initial meeting with owner Jerry Jones in March. And Parsons today explaining on social media what's been happening over the last couple of years. And it is a lengthy post, but this to me is the most glaring part. Quote, "Up to today, the team has not had a single conversation with my agent about a contract. Not one demand has been made by my agent about money, years, or anything else. Still, I stayed quiet. But again, after repeated shots at myself and all the narratives, I have made a tough decision. I no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. My trade request has been submitted to Stephen Jones personally." I just mentioned him. Let's bring in our NFL insider, Adam Schefter. Shefty, how did we get to this point with Dallas and Micah Parsons?
This has been building, Elle, for quite some time, and the fact that we've seen other pass rushers get contract extensions in recent months, and the Cowboys haven't even had any conversations with Micah Parsons since late March, early April, when the Dallas Cowboys felt that the makings of a deal were in place, tells you where things are today. And it led to Micah Parsons telling Stephen Jones he now wants out of Dallas. Now, usually Jerry Jones likes this sort of attention, but when we go back to previous contract stalemates with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb in recent years, none of those players ever issued a trade request the way that Micah Parsons did today. Now it's up to the Dallas Cowboys to figure out how they want to proceed. But Micah Parsons' big objection was the fact that he felt like he was going to talk to Jerry Jones about leadership, and somewhere during the talk of those conversations, Jerry Jones turned it into a negotiation that did not make Micah Parsons feel entirely comfortable. When he went to hand it off to his agent, the Cowboys got uncomfortable, and there's been no conversations since then until today, when Micah Parsons said he would like to be sent away from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, negotiating with agents is literally par for the course in this particular industry. But let's humor me for a second. Let's say Dallas does trade Parsons. What kind of return would they get?
Well, you could look back to the time when the Raiders traded away Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears the week before the opener, and it included multiple picks, including 2 first-round draft picks. There is the compensation back then that was traded. But let me say this, Hal. I do not believe that the Cowboys want to nor intend to trade Micah Parsons. We'll see how dug in Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl. Who knows how many more chances he's going to get to try to win one. Micah Parsons is the best player on their team. He's 26 years old. He's one of only 2 players in NFL history that has had at least 12 sacks in each of his first 4 seasons, the other being Reggie White. This is not the kind of player that you want to move on from for draft capital in future years when you want to win now. So there'll be a lot of drama in Dallas until this is resolved, but something tells me the Jones family will not want to and does not intend to trade Micah Parsons.
We saw in recent years, outside of the Cowboys, Lamar Jackson, when he couldn't work out the deal with the Ravens at first, request a trade as well. Obviously, it worked out, and he is still a Raven, but we'll see how this plays out, and obviously Adam Schefter will be all over it for us as it does. Thank you, Shefty. But I mean, honestly, you guys, Why not just pay the man? It feels inevitable. I mean, he's produced a pass rush win rate of over 30% since his league debut. That is the best in the NFL. He's a two-time All-Pro. He's pressured the quarterback on about 17% of his pass rush snaps. That is also tops in the league. For much more on the precarious Micah Parsons situation, we bring in Kevin Clark, who's host of This Is Football. I mean, how do you see this playing out? What are we doing?
Very few things are more worthless, Elle, than a superstar in the NFL demanding a trade.
Yeah.
Never happens. Okay, they say it, and then either, I mean, I was the idiot who thought that Myles Garrett was doing his stand for more than money. Oh, it was personal. Oh, it was because he wanted to go to a winner.
Yeah.
Guess what? Money solves everything. Money will eventually solve this, but I see a lot of flashing red warning signs here, okay? I'm in the car right now driving down I-84 and I'm seeing a check engine light on the Dallas Cowboys because this situation feels different. And everybody says, oh, well, this is how they handle business in Dallas. That makes it worse.
Correct.
That's not good, okay? And so you run to sign an extension with someone like Micah Parsons. A quarter of the Dallas Cowboys pressures last year were for Micah Parsons. That was top 5 in the league, despite the fact that Micah Parsons missed 4 games last year. That's
right.
A historic share. I just think this is ridiculous. They got to sign him soon.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Zillennials at home would say, go back to last year to Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb.